Okay, Tristan, here's the front angle view, looking for the foot to land square, solid, straight onto the target. And we talked about this during our lesson, and you really nailed it. And we worked on it, in baby steps. So make sure you do that, because if it's hard to get at full speed right away, it's always a good idea to break it down and do it in segments and parts. So you start with your foot here at home, you start with the foot there and just throw over it, and then back it up a little bit, and then do a slide step, and then lift the leg and then go. But this is a great improvement here, and I think this is encouraging because now you've got the feel of it. So now take it to the next level and continue to do this so that you can feel that extra velocity and that extra catapult feel of the upper body flying over that leg. And that'll only happen if you brace it quickly and make it become part of the ground. So all this leg just really becomes an extension of the ground and pushes forces up through the ankle, the kinetic chain, which is the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And when you brace up the hip back here, this hip will fly forward faster. It'll slam open. And then, of course, it'll separate from your shoulder. And then all of this will stay loose up in here, and it will catapult over. You'll get that stretch shortening cycle, that nice long stretch of the upper body, the thrust of the chest, and then it snaps forward and back into its normal position. So good job with the landing the leg there. So these are the two things you should practice this week. Landing that front leg there. So get a piece of tape and put it where your back foot starts in the middle, and then put a piece of tape out where your front foot should land, somewhere right in between the middle of your back foot, like we did here. And then, continually just work on this. It's just a memory thing. It's a motor coordination skill that you just have to learn, and you can obviously do it. So it's just a matter of how much time you can put into that. And I promise you will see very good results because of that. Okay, so let me back you up a little bit so you can see the back leg. So take a look at the back leg. You see, the idea here is that we don't want the knee to flex too far past the toe. We want it to kind of stop on the green line. So what you want to try doing, and do this slowly and methodically, do this carefully, just don't even worry about driving out towards the mound. Get the feel of you sitting back here and keeping the knee in a more solid, braced position so that it doesn't continue to drift past there. So your weakness here is that you get such an angle here on the leg, and it just continues to get lower and lower. And by the time you're ready to really explode out, take a look. Watch how your back knee just continues now. Now the back knee is just kind of it's going to turn. It's going to collapse, and then it's going to straighten out. We want that knee to straighten out, but we want the knee to straighten out about right here. About right here when you're ready to turn and go. And from the other angle as well, from the behind angle you'll see later, it just kind of turns downward, and there's not really much power left in the foot. It's a very tricky concept. Just continue to practice getting your leg up like you do, and then as you start to practice with more of a flex in the knee, as we talked about. So start like with the knee flex a little bit so you don't have to come from such a high position. Start with the knee flexed and think about putting the weight on the back part here, the back part and the middle part of the foot. Actually, the weight should be evenly distributed throughout the foot. That's going to hold your body a lot better. It's not like you're going to lean back on your heel or lean on the middle part of the foot. You just want to get strong on the foot. The entire foot should take the weight, with a concentration in your mind of keeping this really still and grounded, the whole foot grounded, as you start to descend and as the knee starts to flex. So we just want to stay away from flexing forward so far that we get off the heel and onto the toes, because now we have less forces from the ground, and we weaken our power from the leg stride, from the back leg drive. The striding of that leg just gets weakened. because it's too far flexed forward, and it's really hard to power out of that unless you are incredibly strong and explosive. Okay? So work on your first movement, shifting forward, and finding this flex here. You have to find your flex where you're not going to get past that toe. And maybe it's here, and now you have to start really moving out and extending the back leg into that powerful leg drive. If it's too low, now we get off onto the toe, and the heel comes up, and now we're just kind of collapsing the back leg instead of driving it. So I think a good flex would be for you right here, and try to get the weight of the body to sit back here, feeling the weight on the entire foot. Okay? So practice that as much as you can, and of course, get that foot down so that it gets part of the ground and it's grounded. It's not going to shift. It's not going to move. It's not going to turn outward this way like it tends to do. This is a great finish position. Just get that down. You've got that. That should be a nice, easy fix for you this week. Getting this load is the hardest thing about pitching. Getting this load, getting that flex to go the right distance, and feeling the weight sitting back in this direction here while driving forward. Remember, man, if you can load right, you'll get the dough. Load for dough. Load for dough. Okay, let me get to the next video.